This is Russell Clay. You can find me at Twitter at Russell J. Clay. I am here with the Draftkings Daily Trot. We are reviewing this 14 game 7:05 start slate. We're going to roll through the positions here. We're doing a little different format today. I'm going to be looking through the cafe value and our projections to sort of give you an idea what's going on here. So, as we go through this, it should be fun. Let's take a look. First at catcher, that's where we're at first. If you haven't used this before, get familiar with it. It's fun. I always do the projected team run total model. It's right there. As you can see, if you click it, it changes the projection. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. And obviously, you can do that for all of them. But I tend to use this one the most because I find it to be pretty accurate. So, one thing you have to be aware of sometimes if the lineups aren't out yet, then this guy isn't here, the order. But if sometimes you get to later in the day and the lineup comes out and the order isn't here, you can just X them out of your search and refresh, and then when you come back, it won't be there anymore. So if a player's not in the lineup, it will take itself out. So, getting started here. Yan Gomes against Chris Young. Obviously, Chris Young basically given up two home runs a start at this stage. He's just basically a liability at this point. So any cheap Indians bat I'm in on. Tyler Flowers, really one of the few right-handed bats you're looking at in that lineup. Really one of the few bats you're looking at in general in that lineup. It's kind of a tough matchup for the Braves tonight, even though the projected run total is solid. So I'm not buying into this Braves lineup all of a sudden becoming, I wouldn't say the 1929 Yankees, but how about like the 2006 Atlanta Braves? Or whatever, 2003, when they had Gary Sheffield. You know what I'm talking about. Josh Phegley has a Phegley name, but he's been batting the ball around the park of late, like his matchup with Martin Perez. Definitely throwing him in there at a nice price of $3K. Same goes for Christian Vasquez, obviously cheaper, but you gotta love that value. So only $2,500. Give me that all day long. Buster Posey pops up against Matt Garza. I'm down for that. I'm always down for Buster Posey. He's a high-end option, so kind of a contrarian move, I think, at this stage, just because of the way he's been hitting and his price so extremely, so much higher than everyone else's. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. Going down the list here. I mean, there's not much else. I think Cafe Value did a pretty good job with this, kind of facilitating the process of sifting through the entire player pool here. These are the kind of the guys I'm looking at. So once you go lower, I mean, if Francisco Pena is in the lineup, throw him in there for 2,200. But other than that, I mean, pretty rough out there on the streets. Some decent pitchers out there. So that's kind of what you're looking at catcher. Moving to first. Let's see what we got at first. All right, this guy's been popping up. Robert Reinsnyder. Obviously, he has a super small sample size, so everything is kind of inflated for him. He is 3,300. He is a solid bat, and he is going up against a weak lefty in Coors. So I do like him. Batting 7th in the order. Solid value for 3,300, but again, I think that's a little inflated by the small sample size of his career so far. Freddie Freeman, lefty on lefty matchup. I'm not totally buying into that. I think that's a fade even at 2,900. We'll get into Miguel Cabrera real quick. I love that matchup. I think he's got a great shot at a home run tonight against Miguel Gonzalez. Struggles mostly in every facet of pitching, so I like that matchup quite a bit. And then you see the Red Sox popping up, which makes sense against Chris Tillman. Pretty decent matchup. I do like Travis Shaw a little more than Hanley right now, especially because he's third base eligible on DK, and unlike you can't really fit Hanley in if you're going to play David Ortiz. So Red Sox stacks are out if you play Hanley, kinda. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. Jose Abreu hit a homer last night. Finally, he's back on track. Hitting well of late, very, very lately. So batting second today, Jordan Zimmerman, decent value, 4K. I don't mind it. Tournament option for sure. Matt Adams against Doug Fister. I always love his value, 3,400. Mike Napoli, same thing, except I'm super high on Napoli tonight just because of Chris Young. So you kind of bump that quite a bit up. Beyond that, I'm not totally buying into Goldschmidt tonight as I was yesterday. I don't think it's the same type of matchup that is totally perfect. So I'm not into that at 4,600. Rizzo is a fade at 48 against the lefty Gio Gonzalez. I'm okay with Eric Hosmer at 4,100 versus Josh Tomlin, but not optimal in my opinion. That's it's kind of expensive for what he normally is. Obviously, over the last month or so, he's been crushing, but that I don't think that's necessarily what defines this value tonight. So I'm not necessarily in on that. In terms of lower priced guys, there isn't much. Bohr is usually a guy I like. He's at 2,200, but he's facing Pomerantz, so that's not really a keen option. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. Moving over to second, main guys here. Jason Kipnis, love that against Chris Young. As I mentioned, stack your Indians or do one-offs because someone's hitting a home run or two or three off Chris Young today. So Yangervis Solarte, Yangervis Boomerang Solarte. Anyway, I do like him as a value at 3,300. He's batting fourth in the lineup, batting cleanup. You like that against Tom Kohler. Obviously, Cafe Value likes him, so throw him in there. Same with Johnny Giavatello. They've both been pretty solid values over the last few days, and I think you can continue to throw them in there and be confident in them. Ian Kinsler versus Miguel Gonzalez. Again, I'm stacking Detroit again today. It worked out yesterday. I think it can work out today. Looking a little lower, Jurickson Profar. Love him leading off, 3,700 against a relatively weak arm and Eric Surkamp. Sign me up. And then Segura again, kind of like Goldschmidt. I don't hate it, but again, I'm not targeting it either. Daniel Murphy, 4,100 against Lackey. I love that. Him and Harper, I think that's a great mini stack, maybe with a Ben Revere mixed in to get a stolen base and maybe a run on a homer by one of them. So that's kind of what you're looking at there for sure. Beyond that, I think we move over to third here. What are we looking at? Justin Turner, the optimizer's favorite man, batting third tonight, so you gotta love that. Archie Bradley, gotta love that. 3,300, gotta love that. Team run total 5, gotta love that. Justin Turner, historical splits, gotta love that. So I think you just gotta love that. He's hitting better of late. I don't hate him anymore, but there was a stretch where he was really struggling, and in quite a few of my lineups every night. So he has turned it around. I do like that. So interesting move at 3,300. If you're paying up, Arenado against Evaldi in Coors, give me that. That's a nice value. Even at 5,600, I think you're just used to paying up for Arenado and Coors like that now, and he's shown to bring positive returns. So looking for that. Jose Ramirez, I mentioned that. Martin Perez, lefty versus Danny Valencia, obviously borderline all-star at this stage in the season, so pretty exciting. Evan Longoria versus Taijuan Walker. I don't hate that. I think that's a tournament swerve, especially I think a few people are going to be on Taijuan, including myself. So I think Longoria is a nice leverage play on him. Same goes for Machado on Price. I think people are going to slowly saunter back to Price at his price, even if they don't want to. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. I'm not buying the Braves tonight either against Finnegan, so you can just cross that off. Shortstop, What do we got here? Alcides Escobar, love that value. 2,300. You can't beat that on DraftKings. That is an enormous value. Even on a team that's projected for 3.5 points, he still pops up as the top cafe value. Batting leadoff, batting against Josh Tomlin, who's no ace by any means. Escobar hasn't been great this year, but again, he's a solid value, and I think at 2,300 he opens up so much for everybody else that you just throw him in. And hey, if you don't, Aledmus Diaz is there for you at 37. Still below 4K, which I'm loving. Batting 320 on the year. Give me that. 3,700. I'm in. Lindor, Chris Young, man. I'm targeting all of them. So we already reviewed that. Bogarts against Chris Tillman is in play. He's expensive and it's going to hurt, but I think if you go with a Boston stack, you want Bogarts bets in there tonight. Machado against Price, again, leverage play. Corey Seager, he's been a monster. The youngster hitting up against Archie Bradley tonight, batting second. 5 projected team run total. Like that quite a bit. So that's what you're looking at there. Not really going at Reds tonight, as mentioned. Eduardo Nunez against Ulis Chassin. I think he's a nice leverage play. I think people are going to be on Ulis as a value play today, so get Eduardo Nunez in there just in case, and he'll be knocking out quite a few lineups tonight if he gets some hits off Chassin. Moving to outfields, again, Ref Snyder pops up, intriguing. Coco Crisp pops up, intriguing. You got to like both those guys as value bats in the outfield. And outfield bats have been working out lately with Ichiro and last night Ben Revere. I mean, Coco Crisp has that stolen base upside. Same with Jacoby Ellsbury. We're kind of looking at the values here though. JD Martinez going up against Miguel Gonzalez. I do like that. Betting 5th tonight. Love that value and love, obviously, what Detroit's been doing of late. So you're definitely buying that. Charlie Blackmon, 4,900. That's a little too expensive for me, but if you're doing a core stack, sure. In terms of value, Mickey Matuk has actually sort of found a little rhythm here as the season has gone on, so I do like that quite a bit. Lorenzo Cain, 3,300. I guess it depends on if you're going at Tomlin or not. If that Vegas line scares you away, I understand, but I'm not totally afraid of Tomlin at this stage. Para, 3,900, a nice cheap Coors bat. Evaldi isn't a perfect matchup for him, but lefty on righty, so you do like that. Moving down here, Matt Kemp just been mashing the ball against and going up against Tom Kohler tonight. I do like that. Don't think he's due for another home run yet, but we could see crazier things have happened. So moving down, I mean, Carlos Gonzalez, that's super expensive. I'd rather go Arenado than him. So that's kind of what you're looking at here. Smolinski against Perez, decent value. Grichuk in the lineup at an 8th. I'm okay with that at 3,200. Other than that, I mean, you're not going at Chris Bryant tonight. Or maybe you are. Yeah, you're not going at Rizzo, but you are going at Chris Bryant tonight. He's a decent standalone against Gio. So I do like that. Whitley Merrifield, batting 2nd, like him against Josh Tomlin. And again, it's another one of those, are you going at Josh Tomlin or not? So that is DraftKings. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, check out dailyfantasycafe.com for all our awesome tools, projections, content, podcasts, articles, things, me, Jason Gilbolt. Come on, guys, check it out. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.